Hello! Welcome to Spoken Word London. It's lovely to see you all here on our first anniversary of... Thank you. Well, thank you to all of you for supporting it through the year, for coming. We're twice monthly, and it's great to always see regular faces coming back and get new faces coming each time as well. And for your words that you shared with us, because that's the reason why we're here. We do have a special theme tonight as our first anniversary, and it's an anti-hate theme to try and speak out against forms of hate crime, of discrimination and prejudice. Because I think with Spoken Word London, with sharing voices who come in to give our opinions and express ourselves, it's also, as much as it's about speaking, it's about listening. Oh, I forgot the bell, but most of you know how Spoken Word London works. There's a 5-minute limit to basically everyone gets, yes, thank you. Everyone gets 5 minutes and no one gets more than 5 minutes because number one, because we're constrained for time, and number two, because it creates a sense of equality. And so to know that when you're coming up to your 5-minute limit, at 4 minutes 45, I'll give you a little tinkle on the bell. Could you tinkle the bell? Thank you, that's great. And that means 15 seconds to wrap up. And if you don't wrap up within 15 seconds, we want to do it nicely. So instead of coming up and shoving you off with hate, we'll just play Kylie Minogue very loudly. Your words will be forever subsumed to Better the Devil You Know. So to kick off tonight, our first featured reader speaking out against hate is Ibrahim. Please give up for Ibrahim.
Thank you guys. Okay, this poem is actually not conforming to hate. Actually, it's about fighting back in a way. So it's called I'm Just a Poet. I am not an activist. I'm just a poet. I don't march, I don't chant. The ink has my blood, I bleed for my country, my continent, my race. I will bleed for her to see, for her to know that worldly salvation doesn't come without bloodshed. For the freedom we seek on this earth, we have to fight. Leave the comfort of our bed, our sofa, our home. Forget about marching and chanting, because on deaf ears they fall. They plot on our back as armor, our daily tools as weapon. We will storm to those who oppress us, demanding our freedom, demanding our salvation. No, we will fight for it. No, we will take it, my and yours both. I am not an activist. I am a poet who might be, just might be, willing to bleed on the street, fighting for freedom, for salvation of this country, this continent, this race, human race. Okay, on a more positive note, this is actually about giving hope, and it's called Unbroken Nation. They know best, so we submit our will to them. They will steer us right, so we elect them so we let them make decisions for us. They are the key to our salvation, so we elect them as our leaders, to lead us to a better future, where you and I won't have to smile with a broken heart. Hammer of happiness, a glamour code for our children to see, false hope to uplift their spirit. In the happy ring of their laugh, we found our strength to keep up this charade, the strength to keep living in a broken system, where uncertainty is the only certainty we know. We strive, swim against the current of our oppression, determinedly, openly, and praying, we cross to the other side, where flowery garden awaits us. Green, the grass might not be greener there, but it's colorful there. We are no longer limited, because span in front of us are the colors of rainbows and more. So we push, we kick, and bang our head against the wall, hoping for a breakthrough. Few doors, but most drown. Some just wither away. They are meant to make us, but they break us at every single turn. But for our children, future will remain unbroken. We wear our armor of happiness with pride, the beacon hope for our children and the generation to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Ibrahim for beginning the night. Next up, we have someone who's performed a couple of times at Spoken Word London before, and he's back tonight. Please give up for Bunmi.
Good morning. How about them gays, huh? Right? You know, have you seen Pat's shirt, by the way? It says London Gay Boxing on it. And I asked him, what's gay boxing? He said, no, it's gay men boxing. I was like, oh. Get it now. Yeah, no, I'm going to try and stick to the theme. And speaking of boxing, I'm not particularly a boxing fan. I am a wrestling fan. And Duncan actually sent me a poem ages ago about wrestling, and I've always wanted to write a poem about wrestling. So when I read it, I was like, you know, I'm going to write a poem about wrestling. And I sat down, and I was like, I'm going to write a poem about wrestling. I had wrestling on my mind, wrestling. And then this came out in instead. So I'll do this. He was picked on as a child. Well, maybe picked on doesn't quite do it justice. Bullied would be more accurate. You see, he was different. Wasn't like the other kids. Sports, didn't really bother with it. Going to parties, never had anyone to go with. And when it came to women, well, that's kind of what the problem is. Now, you might be thinking, he's one of those homo guys, isn't it? If all he got was bullied, then I'd hardly call this relevant. They don't deserve to live, should kill them for the fun of it, I get it. Maybe you think discrimination isn't that important. And yeah, there are people with all kinds of problems, but at what point do we stop considering others to be human? Now, we all have varying opinions. Yes, homosexuality does go against religion, but so does being ignorant and displaying belligerence. And if you're at least as old as I am, you'll probably remember when we were children, we made all kinds of hurtful statements. We had fun at the expense of another person. Maybe some of them grew up to feel no burden, but others couldn't keep the pain from stirring, taught to believe that they deserved it. Suicide claims may last before the age of 30. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, some women are being taken from their homes, repeatedly raped until they say they no longer like girls. You still think this is okay, you still think this is acceptable. It's interesting how we conveniently forget that as people, we don't get to decide anyone's fate. And if we continue to advocate a world of no acceptance, then how long would it be before we tear up the planet? I'm not trying to get you to be a social activist. Whatever your opinion is, that is absolutely your business. But the moment you consider others to be less than human, whether it's to do with race, gender, or sexual orientation, any support for discrimination means that we're constantly facing hatred on a daily basis. What kind of world would you rather make this? But let's get back to this kid. Bullied for being different. He grew up thinking that he'll never become anything. Loneliness and depression were the only things present. At least they were consistent. A fact he took comfort in. Took years of therapy before he could communicate with another person, and even then, there wasn't any he wanted to converse with. At that point, he'd lost all hope and purpose, left a note in his kitchen saying no one will notice, put a blade to his wrist and slashed it open. You don't have to like every person. You don't even have to like the choices they go with. But we are all trying to get by on this planet. So instead of allowing violence and hatred, let's encourage dialogue and compassion.
Thank you so much to Bunmi. Next up we have another gentleman who's been here a number of times before. He runs his own night down in Vauxhall named Paper Tiger Poetry. It is Alan English. Please welcome.
Actually, Pat, I hope you don't mind, but I don't want to recite a poem here. But I would, however, like to relate a story. I'd like to tell you all a short story, very short story, actually relating to the theme of this night, because I think that yes, anti-hate crime is a very, very important, very important theme to be covering at Poetry Nights. There's all types of hate crime going about. Pat wrote an article that he posted on Facebook. Some of you may have seen it, where he was the target, I won't say victim, but he was the target of hate crime, on the streets of Shoreditch. I can identify with this very strongly because I myself have been a target for hate crime, not because I'm gay, as Pat is, because I have autism and autism Asperger's syndrome. I was coming home from a meeting, I like poetry gig, and I was going into what people on the autistic spectrum called a meltdown. It wasn't, it was really, I was entering into a kind of a really kind of disconnected, really angry, raging state, and it looked, and I was having a proper fit down at the tube station. And this attracted the attention of two passers-by who thought it'd be a nice idea to try and pick on me. And this would be, and just hassling us, slagging us off, and and all the rest of it. But I would like to say that I support. There's a lot of work being done by by people both within the gay community and indeed within the autism community. So I think it's important that we do come out tonight like this, show our support for people of all different diversities, religions, sexuality, creeds, disability, whatever, to support these types of people, and with this, promote diversity, and hopefully we can someday bring an end to hate crime. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Alan English. And Alan's Night Paper Tiger Poetry you can find on Facebook. It's monthly down at the Tea House Theatre in Vauxhall. Next up we have a newcomer to Spoken Word London who's never performed here tonight. Please give a very warm round of applause to Anish.
Cheers, those of you eagle-eared listeners might have actually noticed I did say, oh shit, it's me. So I didn't actually, I was expecting someone else, but no way you do. Yeah, like you just heard, my name is Anish. My name is Anish K. But I'm here, yeah, I didn't actually know there was a thing. I didn't know it was anti-hate. But it kind of works in the way that I'm quite alternative, so I always do the opposite. So instead of anti-hate, I'm actually, the only thing I actually do ever hate is myself sometimes. We've all been there, right? Self-deprecation is a massive thing for me. Always has been. So yeah, hi, my name's Anish, and I'm a fucking dickhead. Yeah. It's true. Thank you very much. Yeah, as we all are, we all have done and stuff like that. When I was a kid, we've all done stupid, dumb shit that we've all done dumb shit in our life, right? When I was a kid, one of my first memories actually, it was amazing. It was, oh, this paper cranium, I wonder what it tastes like. That's really bad, I'm gonna do. So dumb shit number one in my life, amazing. The second dumb shit, I say second dumb shit, one of the other bits of dumb shit I've ever done is, oh yeah, actually, this is brilliant actually. I was four. And we've actually got this bit on home video, but it's only the before and after, so yeah, we missed out on 250 quid. And there's this bit, so I'm like, I'm 4 years old, it's I'm youngest of four, it's my my middle brother's 10th birthday, 1990. And I'm just dancing away in my nice, cute little dirty beige waistcoat thing, and looking like, oh, look, he's so nice. And I'm, obviously being young, obviously you've got elders, and they've got, everyone's cool. You always look up to everyone when you're a kid, mainly because you're about to tie. And I saw one of my brother's mates sort of walk off, and I was like, oh, he's so cool, I'm gonna go follow him, So I walked after him, and he was going to the bathroom, I had no idea. And this function hall that we had was, they had swinging doors. Yeah, you can see this going. Had swinging doors, and he went off to the bathroom, and he pushed forward. Obviously, didn't know I was behind him, and I was looking, and then next thing you know, right, and fucking hurt. Right, seriously, it was fucking hurt. But the best thing about this, and I promise you, it's the funniest thing I've ever done on video. Right, when I say funniest thing I've ever done, it's my favourite thing that I can completely piss myself laughing at. It's on the home video, you can see it, you sort of see me like just doing a little, oh look, he's so cute dancing, power moves, and you just see me toddle off in the background while my mum's raving out, whoa. And then a minute or so later, you just see like these two sort of middle-aged white ladies sort of kind of bent over, coming towards my mum, and you see this sort of blob of hair move like at the bottom of the screen, kind of like Cousin Nick, like already, and then it pans down. And you just see me like, and I swear it's the funniest thing. It is so funny. Like, I can say that having experienced it. It wasn't nice having it, but it's fucking hilarious to watch. Maybe I will YouTube at some point. But one of the dumbest things I've ever fucking done is just ridiculous. So I was 15, and I've always been a shy kid, ever since I was a kid. And kind of really bad because I kind of tend I'm ridiculous and just rubbish with girls. To the point when I was about 15, just when mobile phones started coming in and stuff like that. So I'm not talking like, you know, swanky phones or smartphones or anything. I'm talking 3210, right? Snake and shit, right? Yeah, represent real shit going down. And eventually this girl that I had a massive crush on, which I always had a mad crush on someone every year without fail up until still actually going. And she texted me. She eventually texted me one day. I was like, oh my god, what she doing? But she probably tried to take a piss, to be honest. And I got a number. So one night, it was really, really late, and I was bored and stuff. And obviously, I'm kind of quite nocturnal, and it got to about 4 o'clock, something like that. And or 3:30 actually it was, and it was 3:30, and I was like, so I thought, let me just text her. So I wrote this text, 3:30 in the morning. Can't get no sleep, which is actually a lyric from Faithless, Insomnia, track 4, Moody Mix, amazing. And I think obviously she's not going to know the reference, so let me just follow it up with something else. Yeah, thinking about you, bullshit. And then I thought, I'm going to send it to her. I know her number off by heart because I'm crazy, I'm mad and stuff like that, and I've got a massive crush on her. So 077, sorted, send, go sleep. I wake up next morning, I feel this tension in the air. I was like, what is that tension? Something's going on, something's really not going to go. Walks by my mum's room. She's going mad. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, what the hell is this message that I'm getting of some girl who used fucking it? I'm like, shit.
Thank you very much to Anish. We're coming to the last reader in our first round, but I did have Tom Bland down, but I don't think he's here yet. Is he here? No. Okay, so I guess I'll go at the end of this one. Does anyone have a phone on them that they can time me for? Because you need to stick by the same rules as everyone else. It's 5 minutes. Thank you. So Jacob's gonna have the bell. Cool. Yeah, I did experience hate crime the other day, but I didn't want to talk about this when I started off the night because it was hate crime because of my sexuality, and this night is against hate crime of all sorts. Hate crime because of race, nationality, gender, etc. But I was on the streets of Shoreditch, and I was with somebody, and I was kissing them, and that somebody happened to be a boy, and there was a car pulled up at traffic lights next to us, and they started. There was 4 white males in their 20s, and they started shouting like homophobic abuse at us, like fucking queers, etc. And there's the repercussions of that, of thinking of why this shared sign of intimacy between two people, just and a kiss is like a good thing, isn't it? It's a nice thing to see. Should make people feel so frightened, angry. I mean, it got me thinking what hate is, and hate seems to be a fear of difference. And as I said at the beginning, why we're doing tonight is so that we can understand that we're not that different, really. Whatever kind of social constructs we might have. Anyway, and this poem wasn't written after that. It was written a long time ago, but I'm going to do it tonight because it's about hate. I've been thinking a lot lately about hating. What eats at the heart of hate? Because I hate people every day. I hate tourists on Oxford Street. I hate children on the tube. And I hate slow walkers stopping me getting to my train. I want to grab their faces, say with all that rages, get out of my fucking way. But I don't, because I know my hatred is a ghost. It's a quick flick switch, a brief flick wick. It's a fake shade of hate, just a frustration of place. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a saint. I dislike a fair few people, but that's not the same as hating. That's not the same as wanting to stamp on their faces. Because hate is always going to hate, they say. And in some places, if you ain't got hatred, you ain't got status. So let's play with the face of hate. Hate me for a moment. Hate everything I am. Hate me because I am different to you. Hate my words and my brothers too. Hate me for my body, the ends of my fingertips. Hate my skin, my pigmentation. Hate me for the sensations I share with another in bed. Hate me for my thoughts and fears and dreams. Hate me for the man I might yet be. And then take your hate away and make it something great. Nurture your hatred. Feed it and mold it like clay. Sculpt it like glass being blown until it fits the shape of your soul, and hate will heat you in the cold. Hate will be there when you're alone. And at this point, I would speak of the crimes of hate, of screaming ugly at a woman in a magazine, of a woman in Iran stoned because she was raped. But yes, this poem is about hate crime, but it's also about why. It's about Cameroon, Uganda and Russia. It's about a neighbour hating another. It's about LGBT, it's about immigrants. It's about transgendered camps in Greece and anti-Semitism in Hungary. It's about the EDL and the Britain First and Prontons Francais. It's about a black boy shot on the streets in the USA. It's about hospitals being bombed in Palestine. It's looking at a human race that sometimes seems consumed and wasted by hatred. It's standing up to that and saying, yes, I am not afraid. Thank you. Welcome back to our second round of Spoken Word London, our first anniversary with a special theme of anti-hate. And we're going to kick off with another one of our lovely and hugely talented featured readers, who is the brilliant Hannah Gordon. Please give it up for Hannah Gordon.
Super nervous tonight for two reasons. One, I normally learn my pieces off by heart and recite them from memory, but this one I finished writing yesterday, so I'm going to be reading. And also because this performance is going to help me fulfil a wish I have for an object that I own, which I would like to give to one of you as a prize. Ooh. Okay, this poem is called Goromila Mohogith, and basically, don't say it now, but I want you to guess which language it comes from, this phrase. And it's an antidote to my own hatred. Rather than saying I hate people that I dislike, I sort of wanted to say something else, and thank you doesn't quite cut it. I don't want to be grateful to someone who's caused me pain, but I found this phrase Goromila Mohogith, which is used in the language it's spoken as thank you, but it actually means I wish you 1,000 good things. So this poem is 1,000 good things that I wish to both people I hate, people I have hated, people that hate me, and people I have yet to hate. And there are 1,000 things in this, but the last one is a repetition, because I needed to get 920 extra things into it. In old Hibernia, we do not say thank you. In gratitude, we wish you 1,000 good things. We say Goromila Mohogith, wishing you all the benefits that good fortune well earned can bring. I wish you the courage to stand up and stand alone, to speak for those voices muted in ignorance or fear of violence, because bad things happen when good people do nothing, and exploitation and abuse are condoned in communal silence. I wish you at least a taste of your comeuppance, because sometimes the hard way is the only way to really learn. Hard-won lessons are those that sink in deeply, and reconciliation with rock bottom enables firm foundations for the future to be earned. I wish you a good male role model, in a world of squandered masculinity, better friends, a fresh start, a sincere conception of your place on the scale of infinity, warm hands and a warm heart. I wish you determination, teamed with both resolve and ability, to nurture and mature with a sense of your own vulnerability. May you reflect and constantly re-evaluate hate, and turn it into a more grateful condition. May you be content, not complacent, as you strive to strike a balance between the ideal and the ambition. Enough success to inspire you, to work for your aspirations. May you have the hope to plough on through famished devastation, and turn hope into hard work. I wish you hope into hard work, and hard work into achievements. I wish you the love and empathy to live through inevitable bereavement. Solace to know that with acceptance and time all wounds will heal. Do not create divisions between what you do and how you really feel. I wish you not to victimise yourself, or to relish in past pain. Allow yourself to feel guilt for your wrongs, but do not bathe in self-hating shame. Remember, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the one most receptive to change. Be sure to know yourself. Preserve and abide good health, and knowing your worth, harness your talents and find a place where they are needed upon this earth. The ability to forgive yourself and to know that we are all our own worst judges. The ability to forgive others and the strength to rise above wrongdoing's grudges. To feel loved, even if it is only within a sense of inner peace. I wish you the imagination to be positive and enough creativity to let the pain escape and cease. The ability to reward real love in equal measure to that which you are able to receive. Gratitude for all the opportunities that passed you by, but also for those you chose to leave. The strength of character to allow yourself to be cautious, courteous and tasteful. Appreciation that always leaves you feeling generous, the wisdom not to be wasteful. Inner conviction and its binding will to be done. Humility to lose the things that were not meant for you graciously, and enough pride to walk away from the battles that cannot be won. But above all things, I wish you the attentiveness to be kind. To choose your words, mean what you say, and use the potential of your mind. May you follow your intuition and practice kindness and forgiveness over abhorrence. May you bestow empathy over sympathy and above all tolerance. To understand your history, to know where you've come from and be grounded in your own identity. Unlike someone at the bottom of a well-researched family tree, I do not wish you be crushed by the weight of hereditary memory, but stand at the apex, at the top of the trunk on a bright branch that's branching out. The ability to stay hopeful, the freedom to hold people to account, but their account through clever questions raised, insight gained through personal interaction beyond gossip, stereotypes, tabloids and a social media page. I wish you success, but not necessarily in the way that you want, in a way that makes you progress, without an ego to flaunt. I wish you the ability to interpret the world beyond the way that best serves you, and the good humour to diffuse anger with laughter. I wish you 920 bouts of laughter, that you laugh at yourself, with yourself, and at all the things you failed to say but only thought of after. In old Hibernia they do not say thank you, as in gratitude they wish you 1,000 good things. They say, Goramila Mohagath, wishing you all the benefits that good fortune well earned can bring. So does anybody want me to fulfill a lifetime wish for an object and guess what language that was?
Irish!
Oh, who said that? Ah, you win a prize. Buy it, pawn it, wear it, melt it into a button. I don't want anything more to do with it, but just have it somewhere.
Thank you so much to Hannah Gordon for kicking off round two. That was brilliant. Next up to the stage, we have Will.
Hey, this is usually a song, but I'm going to read it as a poem. Okay. I was travelling through Europe for summer that picture was taken. As a girl from España, she was my lover. She guided me through the streets, the cafes, the bars in Barcelona. Over as we loved her that summer, she was my helping hand. We were together in Barcelona. There was another, that man by my side. I remember one summer evening, I saw her with a man in the park. She found another lover who was stronger and with a bit of a swagger. She told me he was called Pepe, he was the man of her dreams. She said sorry to me later, as I reflected on the presence of another. She was once my lover, but she found another. I was there with the other, that man by my side. Something changed inside me. Was it envy or something other? I think it was love, and it was for her new lover. Lover knows no boundaries, lover has no geography. As I found myself in love with a man from Barcelona. Oh, what a change, I'd always been different. I said to my new lover with that man by my side. My old lover realised what had changed and why. She told me he wasn't my type, her lover. Oh, sweet Pepe, he was tall, he was strong, he was kind. Oh, my former lover, I can tell you that he was my kind. But they were lovers with each other. I'm left with my dreams, watching, with that man by my side. Then suddenly he realised, he saw the glint in my eyes. Oh, I love a man, he knew I loved the other. He was full of anger, he couldn't take what I am. I am what I am, there's nothing wrong with me. But he insisted that I'd never be around, that I saw the truth of that man by my side. It was at that moment that I decided what I must do to keep the sun shining on that everlasting summer in Barcelona. The man was wounded, with blood pouring out on the sofa, and there was I standing with a gun in my hand. The other two left. I was alone with a gun. What had I done to that man by my side? That man is still smiling, always is, never stops. His life had been frozen by the sun in Barcelona. I gather him now with some lady back home, alone in my thoughts, my dreams frozen in that picture. I look at it again, that picture of that summer, the four of us together, that man by my side, smiling, smiling, smiling. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Will. Next up, we have a regular reader at Spoken Word London. He's great. Please give it up for James Ari.
Well, what a perfect theme for this evening. It's always full of irrepressible joy. I hope my accent didn't sound sarcastic, because it's true. And unfortunately, I'm a little off theme. I'm too small and petty for such a great theme. But I guess this is a little bit about empathy and how we could all use a bit more or less, I suppose. But so Four Corners is it's like the Australian current affairs program that your parents respect. So, Dane at work reckoned the Four Corners expose was a beat up. It's not that bad, mate, he said. People are just prejudiced against the delivery method. It's completely fine, he said. Ice isn't actually crystal meth. It's just speed that you smoke. Dane stayed awake for 3 days, then decided that his dad was out to get him. Dane's old man was a cab driver. Dane suspected that instead of driving around collecting fares to make a living, his father had enlisted every taxi's combined driver in Sydney to run surveillance, communicating Dane's every move back to base via radio. The conspiracy culminated in Dane locking himself in the bin room out the back of the pub we both worked at. When he finally came out, I drove him back to Cronulla while he smoked cigarettes with the windows up because it was raining. Dane got fired from the pub, which was a good thing, because after that he met someone and got married and had a beautiful child. After that, he started spamming everyone on his Facebook to vote for Des Sutherland Shire's most photogenic baby. After that, I clicked unfriend and now I don't hear much of Dane.
Thank you very much to James R.E. Next up on round two, we have a wonderful poet who's been here basically since the start. Please give a huge round of applause for Raj.
Hi, so I'm going to read a poem about a hero of mine, black rights activist called James Baldwin. And it's called Sermon. Be black, and blacker still. Let righteousness rage and love distill. James Baldwin, prophet in Greenwich Village. Hand me your mantle and let us dance, with tender words from tender poets with tender minds and tender eyes, whilst the world cometh with trust no brother of mine spy drones and pitiful post-war, pre-war, freedom, terror, rain down Jesus and save me songs of liberation. For what is liberation but the vain deliverance of this blasphemous cherub heart of mine that beats within the flowers of your garden, James Baldwin, parting the lonesome planets to create the fifth tiered up gospel as we raise the pylon electric sky just above our heads to deliver your sermon, our sermon, To the beautifully burdened who skirt around the limits of black holes, cold with terror at the very atoms themselves, castrated of canine, fear no more, sinner man, madman, preacher man, dangerous love. To live, to live, and sing aloud the Steinbeck odes, ingratiating miraculous human spirit. How deeply you shift the shadows, James Baldwin. Striking hard with black hands on Remington Rands, rolling, railing, wailing through the pitch-dark hours, closing in so sharply around the turn the other cheek race chamber manacles with what was then the dirty black hand of Harlem, but is now the limitless hand of truth and wisdom, and with this comes the emergence of wide-eyed open shithole legacy pent-up self-acceptance that I sometimes read, and I sometimes write, and I sometimes dream, and I sometimes wish as the sun cuts short behind a cloud, and that is true sadness, friends. As I lace myself within the pages of your miracles, James Baldwin, and be all the blood and piss and shit and seed that I manifest in thought, as your words greet the hollows of my eyes, becoming Caleb, Arthur, Rufus, Florence, Julia, white mist blown by puckered black lips. So pick up your bed, child, and walk, because life is the toughest motherfucker going, and I'm not selling you life insurance. Allen Ginsberg is my husband, Patti Smith is my wife, and you, James Baldwin, you are my brother. So let us go forth and make art, because all art is made to be destroyed and yet never to perish. Art is the unifier and possesses keys to fractions of universe that I am yet to arrive at, conjuring a world with greater eyes, someplace erased from present view but tangible all the same. Your books on my windowsill, watching the day turn dark in London. Holy Land, truth, and you are gorgeous, uniting. I love you, I cherish your labours, your works, your cause to live. So deeply are they part of you. Down, 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 down to the inner sanctum, where ideas are courted, seduced, bedded, fucked, conceived, carried, and then through violence and love, born for the eyes of you, the creator, and me, the schoolboy. And so these ideas are passed on, nurtured, cuddled, kissed, changed, raped, murdered, violated, celebrated, damned, sanctioned, arrested, open, worshipped, breathed, danced and deflowered, only to propagate the insatiable bloodline urge of man to be heard, to make art and to feel love. Preacher man, preacher man, preacher man, come. The sermon does not belong to the preacher man. So steady the tides for all with twinkle-eyed beauty, missile, liberation, ambition. For all who write poetry, for all who know and seek greater depths. Beneath the facile silver-lined smock, embroidered with fabric of man lies and false teeth. Let the blood rush from our noses and char the ink-stained word we once thought great. And let the blood rush from our noses and make the ink-stained word greater. And let the blood rush always from our noses and make the noses of others bloodier still. So hand me your mantle, James Baldwin, and leadeth me into the blood rush light forever and ever. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Amen.
Wow. Wow. Thank you to Raj for going forth in round two. Next up, our penultimate speaker in round two is Duncan. Please give up for Duncan.
There are 3 words that can bring peace to humanity. 3 words to challenge a society where narcissism, greed and luxury take priority and people chase material vanities, turning a blind eye to global politics and just accepting this insanity. 3 words to transcend rage, age, faith, gender and sexuality, understood in any language, to create empathy and awareness of our own mortality, to overcome brutality, promote liberality and question our own mentality, to move from past failures and future dreams into the now of reality. Ready? How are you? Let me explain. 10 years ago, I was afraid of everything. I took no responsibility for my life. I let the past control my feelings. Fear told me I would always be a bullied, clueless little boy, so that's what I started believing. And I bumbled along quietly, giving no thought to healing, just existing in an invisible box that held my true self from the world. I kept my head down to avoid hitting the ceiling. And when I got a job working behind the bar, I was terrified. Being forced to engage with total strangers when just making eye contact left me petrified. But through the use of 3 words, my confidence grew. When I saw a customer, I took a deep breath and said, "How are you?" Responses varied from grunts to "what?" to "lager." But the main answer was "all right" or "not bad." I mean, honestly, most people gave a sparing acknowledgement to the question because despite my good intentions, they didn't want to be engaged, didn't want to think about how they really were, just wanted a drink. But in their eyes, I saw suppression of their true feelings. They were acting, just like I was. Initially, this reassurance I wasn't the only one doing this made me feel glad, but as people continued to avoid the question, it made me feel sad, not just for them, but because I was doing the same thing. My spirit was crying out to release the real me, but my mind wasn't listening, so I decided to stop hiding. I grabbed some paper and a pen. I asked myself how I really was, and then I started writing. And when I looked at what I'd written, I realised all this negativity, doubt, anxiety wasn't the truth. It was just my opinion. I was lost, scared and ignorant to life because I chose to be. Confidence and happiness came when I stopped living in the past, stopped desiring material procrastinations and just embraced the real me. Being in the moment, accepting all that happens, good and bad. How am I? I'm free. So when I ask someone how they really are and they just pretend they're fine, I want to help them realise they're alive. Right now, they already have everything they'll ever need. Appreciate a conscious mind that allows them to live in harmony with each other without justification or cause for hate, paranoia, jealousy or greed. Stop pinning their hopes on something happening in the future to change their ways. We're always waiting for tomorrow. We've got to start living for today, and I believe... No. I know this is a practice that, if engaged, can lead to peace. If we show love to ourselves, we'll show it to each other. All self-doubt, fear and hostility will cease. We need to take responsibility for our actions, stop worrying about what we can't control. Living in unity, accepting the truth of life has to be our ultimate goal. But we need to be one with ourselves before this manipulative societal bubble can burst. So before you ask someone how they are, ask yourself first. Peace.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Duncan. So it's amazing to see, like, because Spoken Word London is supposed to be about for people who, for established speakers and first-time readers, and Duncan, I think of both Duncan and Raj, like, read for one of the first times here, and it's amazing to see them now doing it with such charisma and potency and confidence and just holding an entire room, and so that's great. Next up, we've got another one of our featured regular poets speaking out against hate. It is Jacob Joyce. Please give up.
Hi. Yeah, this space has also really given me like loads and loads of confidence as well. So thank you so much, Pat, for setting this up. Okay, so some of you may know, if you are friends with me on Facebook, that I'm constantly just like getting into arguments with people and just getting really, really angry. And it's nice that there's so much love tonight, but I'm really fucking angry. So I'm going to do an horrible and express some of my anger. So I've been hanging around with a lot of queers, a lot of people who identify as queer, and they're very much like, you know, slap you on the wrist if you say something that's kind of bigoted, because everyone does it sometimes, and it's been really good, but it's also made me, when I go out into the world, just like, what are you saying? So often. So I've kind of absorbed some of the really irritating things that people have said to me recently, and I have put it into this poem about rape culture. And I just want to give a trigger warning for victim blaming. Okay, let me just get into the mindset of just a dickhead. Okay. Now, I'm not defending actual rapists, but these men have only ever been accused. And there's plenty of hysterical people out there who they're caught up in the fantasy of being abused. I mean, these men, they get publicly named and shamed by people who are just looking for someone to blame. And most of the time, they've done nothing wrong. I mean, these people can't even listen to the lyrics of a song without going on and on about how it's perpetuating rape culture. I mean, so what if the dancers, the models are vacant and naked while the singer is touching himself creepily? I mean, it's pop music, man. You don't need to think deeply. And, you know, not all men are rapists. You know, like, not all sexist jokes are tasteless, man. You need to stop being so defensive. It's not my fault you're so sensitive. I'm not going to be a victim of your censorship. Let me educate you, mate, okay? Rape can be used in a multitude of ways. It can be hyperbole to accentuate the passion of your point. It can be an analogy. You can swap it for words like, killed it, or slaughter. You know, normal slang you'd hear from your teenage son or your daughter. Not all men are rapists, just like not all police are racist. So many allegations of racial discrimination are baseless. You need to stop it, man. There's no need for all this, like, feminist discussion groups rounding up angry troops, all this militant resisting and slut marching. Just ignore the overarching structures of oppression and entertain my patronising digression. Because not all men are rapists. Not all men are sexual offenders. Not all men are sexual predators. Not all lawyers are truth benders. Not all defence lawyers are fact editors. Some sentences are fully served and some people get exactly what they deserved. Not all men are rapists. Not all men are sexually obsessed. But if a woman is dumb enough to expose her breast, lead a man on with the way she's dressed, you know. Sorry, I'm just getting upset because it's so fucking stupid. But this is real things people have said to me. Why be angry when men greet it with lust? I mean, you know, drunk girls say so much shit you can't trust. Because real men know the difference. But it's okay if real men show indifference when the victim becomes the point of blame, or the body becomes the object of shame, or the language of sexual violence becomes the language of video games. Not to discredit the supremacy of the male gaze, but sexual violence works both ways. Not all men would admit they have been the victim of rape. Weakness does not fit. That kind of weakness does not fit within the masculine landscape. Ours is a culture of dominance and bravado. We cling on to the funny side and we throw away. We disregard our woe. But if we can't take this kind of oppression seriously, it's going to be a harsh lesson when we find ourselves mysteriously choking on the flippancy of words that we spoke, when that pain becomes the butt of somebody else's joke. Thank you.
To kick off our third round, we have a wonderful man who's read here a number of times before. It is Tariq de Montfort. Please go.
Now, you may have heard of the Islamic paradise being 72 virgins, and I promise I shall return to these virgins. But Muhammad once said himself, "'Tis true that food nourishes the body, but it's also true that flowers nourish the soul." Islam is very much connected with hate, and I'd like to begin with this idea of the self and the other, because when it comes to hate, it is the self and the other issue, which is the main issue. The self being everything that is understandable, everything that is right, everything that is safe, the other being everything that is strange, foreign. Once upon a time, the word alien was used to describe foreigners. That infamous line from the Holy Quran, "Kill the non-believers." Well, yes, it does say that. Of course it does. But in a very specific context, that is the conquest of the holy city of Mecca, when Muhammad and his first followers, who were originally worshippers of beauty, were in exile. They wanted to take pilgrimage, and they did, without weapons, of course. worried for their own lives, they asked the Prophet, what if we are attacked? It's not that you must kill the non-believers, it's you can, you're allowed, but only after a respectful grace period. And only if they attack you first. And only if there are no other agreements in place. And only if they stop you from going to pray at the Kaaba. And God is merciful, therefore mercy is supreme, so it's actually better if you don't. A perfect Muslim is one from whose hand and tongue humanity is safe. Are one of the best known, best forgotten lines of the Prophet. And it is this misunderstanding. Now on terrorism, which is a sibling of hate. It is we, the still too silent majority of agnostics, atheists, theists, and everything in between, and beyond for that matter, who have seeded the public arena and allowed this small minority of hate spreaders. And we have allowed Judaism to be overrun by violently messianic West Bank occupiers, Christianity by homophobic bigots, misogynistic hypocrites, and Islam by suicide bombers. And whether we blind ourselves to the fact, whether these people call themselves Jews, Christians, or Muslims, they are none of the above. They are a cult of their own. Blood brothers steeped in other people's blood. This is not faith, this is fanaticism. We need to start making a difference. The Quran said to Muhammad, I have sent you as nothing but a rahmah, a vessel of compassionating compassion. You are meant to be nothing but compassion. He would call out terrorism for what it is, not just criminal, but an obscene travesty of everything he believed in and struggled for. And he would say, well, the Quran says, if you take a life, you take the life of all humanity. And if you give a life, you give life to all humanity. And he would dedicate himself fully to the thorny process of obtaining peace in the Middle East today. I can't say I believe this, but I can say I have faith that there will be peace in the Middle East, because I will not lay my hands down to nihilism. It is self-fulfilling. Now, on these virgins and misunderstanding, what is closer to the Islamic paradise, which is mentioned 36 times, are gardens watered by running streams. As for these virgins, rendered as dark-eyed maidens with swelling breasts or high-bosomed virgins. Old-fashioned Orientalism comes into mind here. This was in fact added around 300 years later by a sexed-up Islamic scholar. They simply do not exist. What is mentioned 4 times are the holy, but that is it, just the holy. Perhaps pure beings of light, or like the ancient Greek, eternal youths, but we don't know, because all that is mentioned are the holy. Not a single swelling breast or virgin in sight. They do not exist. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Tariq for kicking off our third round. Next up, we have a newcomer to Spoken Word London who's never read here before. Please give a huge round of applause for Sophie.
Hello. It's on my phone, so it might look slightly unprofessional, but the look of hate is in your soul. How can you unlearn such distaste towards my race or another being's past, to nurture which has little to do with a moral compass? I am Asian, I am white, and I am Jewish, and I am German. I have loved, I have burned, and I have bullied, and I have broken. As beings are so capable of inflicting pain, opportunists and small minds must restrain. For you are yet to learn the true dreams of my culture, in which I fly alongside a beautiful vulture, and understand, and nod, and look into its eyes, in which fear and the fear of being misunderstood drains and runs dry. The black heart turns white, and every day I ask why. This doesn't happen amongst our societal conditions. Culture doesn't make people, people make culture. Let's change our positions. Why hate our bones and our backgrounds and our pasts? There is so much richness in the goods of humankind at last. Do you detest my core but because it is more ignorant than before? A very wise man once told me that ignorance is bliss,
But he lied, dear Lord. The winking jewels of our nature as beings lights up my mad love for this world like no other being in other fantasies. A silver tongue's tricks can thicken this piteous prejudice, but with an iron fist and a velvet glove we can interrupt the biasness. If your ears are burning, don't worry. We are awake now and we will interrupt. We will amplify and we will intercept this escalation and stand with you. We must rise above the mediocrity of this mindless hate crime and uneducated debate. If you want to see real hate, look at the reflection of the spoon from which you're eating a rotten food of division. Of course it is in our nature to fight, as it is to love until we see a white light. We are beasts of this life, and we are lucky and we are alive and we are free. With words and ears and mouths and eyes to see, we can soak this poison and this hateful heart and this divide. We can throw this dripping towel into hate's riverside. If a man loves a man, it is in their nature to love. Anyone who knows love knows it is more beautiful than heavens above. If it's a problem with another's pigmentation that you act on, then it is back to biology lessons and previously ignored education. And if a woman deserves to have her opinion and known and respected, then the same amount of ears should be open and not selective. Take those skull candies and cyanizers out. Drop your anchors into the margins of this society and realise that a welcome can heal the heaviest of hearts. This is change today. This is my interruption, and this is where it starts. What is a human without basic human rights? To make an animal, you must be an animal. It is time for us to start interrupting physical and verbal acts of hate crimes. We need to speak up and amplify our non-acceptance of it in these times. That's it.
Thank you so much to Sophie. Next up, we have another one of our featured speakers speaking out against hate. He's a man who's very well known around the spoken word poetry scene in London, and has been here, and we've been honoured to have him read a number of times. It's Tom Bland. Please give it up.
Hello.
Hello.
I only have one poem, and you're going to get slightly bored in the middle. I thought it was best to warn you. And I only wrote it this afternoon. And it's called Quotes from Haters. Now, the Urban Dictionary, God bless it, it's really useful because it said haters are not jealous because they don't want to be the person they hate. They look down upon the person they hate in some sort of irrational conundrum that I do not understand. So the poem is called Quotes from Haters. Your woolen green chinos make my stomach turn. Is everyone wearing green woolen chinos? I hated that time you said, I want you to be happy even when you were in school. I wanted to punch you in the stomach. That's not so funny. Your shoes are like slivers of plastic and paisley socks. You make me sick. I hated that time you kissed my nipples, even if it did get me hard. That was disgusting. I'm not a fucking girl. Your black tattoos twist the platonic shapes out of shape. What the fuck is wrong with you? I hated the moment you said you loved me. I was too embarrassed, so I slammed the table and ran to bed. That bit is autobiographical. Only slightly. I hated the time I slapped you across the face, but you deserved it. I did say I loved you. I saw the two Titanics coming out of your bra and everything else. That massive body was just like huge waves. This isn't me, this is the haters. You're a man, you fuckwit. Why the fuck are you wearing skinny pink shorts, showing your cock like a girl showing her tits? I hated that time I went down on you. I was drunk, and yes, we both did come. I hated it, you smelled. You walk down the road like a doe, preening in each window. I want to wipe that grin off your face. I want to cut up your body. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. You're my bitch, I own you. I spit and you wipe. I piss and you lick. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. Not to make the point too obvious, but haters hate because they're idiots. But some might grow into humans. There's always hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Tom Bland. Next up on our third round, we have our penultimate speaker, who is a pretty magnificent woman, and she's been here a number of times before. She's a brilliant poet. Please go up for Caroline Teague.
So this one then is quite recently. I've been spending more time with my mum, rebuilding relationships, and I got drunk with her, and she told me of an incident where a bus driver told her, it was quite late at night, she works nights, a bus driver told her to go back to whatever country that she came from, which really upset her, and usually that stuff doesn't, because she's been here for a while, and she's, was here in the 70s, and so she's got tough skin, so I don't think that it would, but it did, and because of the current state of everything at the moment, then this was one. It's called I Need Roots. My mother has faced repression, counteracted against recession. Depression and cell degeneration have been unwelcome guests in her bones and in her home, and yet the night that the earth heaved under the lash of a storm, causing the concrete pavement in my parents' garden to splinter and crack, roots protruded like broken fingers of a man buried alive and trying to claw his way back. This tree fell forwards in an inevitable defeat, and I realised that this is probably the saddest metaphor that my mother had ever seen. All she had ever wanted was to be cushioned in the belly of a sleeping, loving beast. Understand this, if you can, please, that my mother is a wicker basket. All wings and wood all woven together, tight-stitched, crisscrossed, tethered. My mother is tough touches. My mother is silver-wired afro coils meshed together in a scrubbing net, long-lasting, hard-wearing industrial strength, rough. My mother is not the church bell, but the rope that it is tied to. She is all plaited willpower and pull. My mother is born of both the scared and the scary. She is extraordinary patience and billowing forgiveness. I don't think that she knows that I know this, but I know this. And Mr. Freeman states, with all the force of his British first storm, that if black people don't like British politics, black should go back to where the darker tones are matched. That makes my tongue heavy, thick, swollen with fury. There's a British passport in her grasp, but the culture of two continents clasping her heart. She is the bark of that tree where generation upon generation of unjust politics have carved their marks. She fled the Gold Coast as a turbulent teen. She who worked any job offered to the darker the skin, the less valuable the soul, the fairer the sex, the less desirable the mould. She who let her husband inquire on empty rooms, all too aware of being turned away for the tone of her flesh. Yes, she who bent and broken back, stacked hours and counted pennies, beating back the memories of her father's fists. A list of siblings scattered far across the globe, but no. She never asked for help nor took advantage of a system that granted her no safe haven save for a birth certificate to a place that never wanted her to feel like she was home. She can't listen to the poems on civil rights. She can't watch the documentaries of cultures fighting that good fight. Her love is too big and it hits a little too deeply under her caramel skin. She still thinks of acknowledging her own suffering as condemnable Catholic sin. She is a Coretta Scott King of a lady. Background: faithful, gracious, unstated, shackled to the label of half-caste, half-hearted. Black should go back to where black started. My mother tells me that this isn't a new song, just one where the words have been twisted over the years as they are chanted, but she's still insistent that to teach forgiveness you have to forgive them, so I forgive you. Freeman, Griffin, Sylvester, put it behind us. Bloom, Farage, Thatcher, bygones are bygones. Churchill and Powell. My mother's struggles show me that discrimination holds no real power. Her footsteps for freedom now echo in the free. Her story has salted the earth underneath our family tree. So bring this new storm of intolerance to my doorstep. I urge you, you can't uproot my mother's roots when they are rooted in me. Thank you.
I literally have a tear in my eye. Yeah, thank you very much to Caroline Teague, who's amazing and brilliant. And now next up, for our last reader on round 3, we have another one of our featured poets speaking out against hate, who is the lovely, the beautiful, the wonderful poet, Andrea. Please give it up, Andrea.
Hi everyone. So happy 1 year Spoken Word London. This was the first place I read, anyway, I found it really hard to write this poem. I'm not going to lie. Even though I've seen a lot of hate and read a lot of hate and studied a lot of hate, but I just couldn't write about it really. I didn't really understand how to write about it, and I started searching a little bit deeper and trying to find where hate starts and why people do things because of hate. And in me, at least, I realized I don't really do things because of hate. I do things because of fear, because I'm afraid. That's what makes me lash out in moments. And so it made me realize that I think a lot of times these people that do things, they do them because of fear, you know, because they're afraid. So I wrote this poem about fear. It's still tossing and turning. What do we do when the fear creeps in and keeps banging on the windows of our song? When the fear creeps in, what is it that we'll do? What is it that we'll do when the fear creeps in? When it slides and pours right in the crevices once lit, when it conquers all the love collected in our pit. When it tugs in all our instincts and spread our eyelids out and tethered, when it devours all our roots and leaves our insides leathered. What do we do when the fear creeps in and replaces joy with foggy grout? When words are just in shout? When the fear is so heavy it starts pulling at your mouth? A clanking in the radiator, the banging on, the sound of something wrong, the sound of something stuck, the sound of something wailing. Memories of tenderness are fading and flailing. A puppeteer strings people up, babies who once squeezed fingers in search of kissing petals, showering with tiredness after muggy summer's day. Ice cream was once happiness, that joke that went down well. An ill-fitting suit, drenched with prideful aftershave. Picked first in games. Pebble Dash looked homely. No one wore their skin. Love was more abstracted. You knew less. You knew less. Knowing less fear. Knowing less gritted teeth. Less daring stares. Less laughter bred in hate. Less chapters and chants of purple face. Less concrete cells, less being trapped inside a body born to cuddle, born to hold, pulled apart by ropes of phobia, getting cold, getting cold. When the fear has crept, when the clanking doesn't cease, when the colors are all muted, when the loathing comes with ease, that is when the fighting flights of adrenaline and the jaggedness of frightened desperation are the pain of all the people. Thank you.
So welcome back to our last and final round of this amazing night, and thank you so much to all of you for your amazing words, for your amazing ears. Like, it's an amazing. We always get a great audience here, but it's an amazing audience tonight. It's so positive and responsive. And as I've heard, like some people say to me, like there's so much anger out here on the mic, which is against hate in all its forms, in all its different forms, which is amazing. And then so much positive, optimistic response from the audience. So it's really touching. Thank you. And we're going to start off round 4 with another one of our featured readers against hate. It is the magnificent Ernesto Sarrazali. Please give it. Thank you,
I'm going to do 2 poems, and the first one is a poem I wrote many years ago in response to a particular event that happened in my first spring in London. It was April 1999, and what happened was that this guy placed a nail bomb in Admiral Duncan, a gay pub in Soho. A few days earlier, he had put a bomb in Brick Lane, aiming at the Bangladeshi community. Before that, he had put a bomb in Brixton, aiming at the black community there. The first 2 bombs didn't damage anybody, it was just a few businesses that were affected. But the one that he placed in Admiral Duncan killed quite a few people and severely damaged many more. Coincidentally, that evening, normally I wouldn't be on a Friday evening in Soho, but I happened to be there. And I was opposite the bar a few minutes after the bomb exploded. I could have been walking past it. It was just a matter of minutes. And so it was a bit disturbing just to think of that, but also I could see there was like a wall of smoke, and there were people coming out of that with their faces covered in dust, blood, etc., people lying on the floor. It was quite disturbing. So I don't normally write poems like this, but I felt I had to react to that. And the poem is called Business as Usual. We met at 10 as planned. As planned, we cruised and drank, bought flowers to our suitors, avoided the banned baths. As planned, we laughed, had fun, and headed to the club. We were to meet with Paul at midnight by the square. He was not there. We rang his mobile phone, but then his mother answered and she said, "You will not recognize his face. He went out early, had a blast of nails and wood and glass. He lost a leg, in hospital he lies." We cried, we hugged, we realized again, looked at the ground and walked towards the club. As planned, we cruised and danced. We're young and we're alive. Thank you. I need a costume change, just bear with me just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Seems to be ready now. So, from 1999 to 2014, a few months ago, the Venerable Diarmuid Martin, the Catholic Archbishop of Dublin, made some statements that were very much publicized. Basically, he said that Catholics, it's not a good thing that Catholics hate gays and lesbians, you know, and people like this, because they have been created by God. So basically he said that if you hate gay people, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. So I decided to continue his logic and came to the conclusion that if you hate pedophiles, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate Mia Farrow, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate rapists, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate red-haired people, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate serial killers, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate Justin Bieber, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate people from Essex, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate homophobes, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate Katie Hopkins, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate, say, your local UKIP councillor, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. If you hate men who shave their body hair, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. In fact, if you hate Satan, then you hate God. God never created anyone that he doesn't love. Amen.
Thank you so much to Ernesto Sarrazzani. Ernesto is, as Jacob who read earlier, Ernesto runs a night called Velvet Tongue, which is an erotic literary salon. It's on this Sunday, and it used to be a barcade, but it's moved to the book club. So if you want to come along, then there are loads of flyers around for you to find out more about that.
Both Pat and Jacob are in. Pat is also featuring.
Yeah, I am also featuring. And it's a great night. Just apart from the fact that I'm featuring, I'm going to have a conflict of interest. But yeah, I've been there a number of times where I haven't been featuring, and it's a great night because it's just talking about sex in a really honest way, in a really carnal and really enjoyable way, and it invites lots of people from the audience to come up and give their own ideas about sex and about eroticism in 2014, so I'd advise it. Next up, we have someone who's read here quite a few times before, and he's great. He's back again tonight. It is Sasha. Please give it up for Sasha.
So bright.
Yo, Sasha.
It's more like it. Do we have any Frank Zappa fans?
Yeah!
Okay, this one kind of encapsulates everything about racism, especially during the 60s, especially the Watts race riots, which went on in 1965, and this is a song called Trouble Every Day. Well, I'm about to get upset from watching my TV. I've been checking out the news until my eyeballs fail to see. I mean to say that every day is just another rotten mess. And when it's gonna change, my friend, is anybody's guess. So I'm watching and I'm waiting, hoping for the best. I think I'm going praying every time I hear him saying that there's no way to delay that trouble coming every day. There's no way to delay that trouble coming every day. Well, I've seen the fires burning merchants and the shops used to sell the brooms and mops and every other household item. Watch the mob just turn and bite them, and it says that serves them right. Just cause a few of them are white, and it's the same across the nation. Black and white discrimination, all that you can't understand me, and all the other jazz that hand me on the papers and TV, and all the mass stupidity that seems to grow more every day. Each time I hear some dick would say, what's gone do you win? Cause of the color of your skin. Yeah, it don't appeal to him, no matter if you're black or white, cause he's out for blood tonight. Now we gotta sit around at home and watch this thing begin. I don't think there'll be many left to see it really end. Cause the fire in the street ain't like the fire in the heart. And in the eyes of all these people, don't you know that it could start on any street in any town, and any state if any clown decides that now's the time to fight. Some ideal he thinks is right, and if a million more agree, there ain't no great society. And it applies to you and me, that our country isn't free, and then the law refused to see that all that you can ever be is just a lousy janitor. And unless your uncle owns a store, you know the 5 in every 4 just want to amount to nothing more. So watch your rats go across the floor making out songs about being poor, singing. Rough. Things I cut my finger, and you know it's such a pain to play the guitar with my Okay, here's another one. It does not fluctuate with the motif, but it does kind of Out in the night, hurry out of the reed. The nun made love to the vicar. And although grey her hair it was, and not used except for the copulation for his now dead son it was, the convent seemed to awaken. Now, I'm going to lay out just some things here. They don't necessarily mean anything. I mean, they're just kind of visual aids and props.
You're my hero!
Got some books here. This is really apropos if anybody knows this. William Burroughs. And, my meticulous room, my new room, every shelf a universe, every book a world, every chapter a country, every page a capital, every paragraph and stanza a district, every word a person, every letter a limb, every ink pigment a cell, all the blank space is calming, breathable air. There whenever, always ready, even prisoners, pirates, protagonists, and drowning men and suffocating women are not denied it. Upturned can of Tesco value mushy British peas, as old as my relationship with her, went off last September, set her back 6p while these people catch
Thank you so much to Sasha for being second on our last round. Next up, we have a newcomer to Spoken Word London who has never performed here before and decided to tonight. Please give it up for Alexander.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. It looks like I can't see anyone, so it's alright. Anyway. So, I'm going to get a little bit philosophical, okay? So basically, us humans, we like to assume that we know everything. But the fact is, I learned from a wise man who lived a very long time ago that actually we know nothing. And we like to believe we know everything because that's how we live. I think it was Socrates who said, all that I know is that I know nothing. And I think people like to live in ignorance. I think people like to live believing what they believe in is right, when really it's not even right. And I think people like to living a life of discrimination, believing that, you know, I don't like this sort of people, I don't like this sort of people, I don't like that sort of people. And actually that's the wrong way to live. Because as a recent band I've learnt from recently, it's called Wet, Wet, Wet. It said love is all around. And I agree with this point of view, I agree with this logic. Because I think that's something we can agree with, because I think at the end of the day, we're all complicated people, aren't we?
Yeah.
We all have our own sort of things going on in our heads. But at the end of the day, we all want love. And I think that that's really the goal for all of us. And it's our aim to get love. And if our aim is not hate, hate is just something we kind of have because we have nothing better to do and we want to make people's lives miserable. But really, that's just not useful to anybody. And what we really need to be doing is making everyone happy, making everyone, you know, live in a better place. But people don't do that, and I think that's a big problem. I mean, it's a big problem, and I think that one of the quotes I have, one of the statements I remembered was from a man called Plato a long time ago, and he believed that, you know, this world was basically an illusion, and we know absolutely nothing. But the fact is, and I think people will agree with that and won't agree with that. But I think the point is, you know, we like to believe that actually we know everything, and the fact is that you have only existed in this planet for about 7,000 years as a human race, and we only know a fringe of what actually exists on this planet. And we cannot pretend like, you know, today we know everything, because in 100 years' time we're going to know something more about technology, we're going to know something else about this and that. And I guess my message to you is that just be open-minded, love people, and you're going to go far. And another set of lyrics, when you say nothing at all, that's a good one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to Alexander. Next up we have, this is the great thing, like this is why, kind of like part of the reason why we do this night, that we have another, a guy who was in the audience and who was inspired by tonight just to come up and speak. And so please give a huge round of applause to Angel.
It's true, you're gonna see anyone. Right, I just made a few notes about what I want to say. I'm a foreigner, so I grew up in Spain and I came to London and I had to learn the language the hard way. Didn't go to school or anything like that. And one of the things that fascinated me was words and how people use words and what do they think about words. And tonight I want all of us to think about the word hate. And every single time that you use the word hate, what do you hate? And how do you use the word? How easy do you use that word? Right? The other day I was with my friend and she said to me, I hate people who wear white socks. Right? And I went to bed thinking, how can she hate people who wear white socks? Right? How could you sleep with her? How could you live with her? How could you hate somebody so much for something so silly? And the truth is, everything we hate is very silly. It is true. Every time we make a statement about us hating something, it's about us feeling comfortable about who we are. We just want to be somewhere and feel like, hey, I'm part of this group, I'm part of these people who hate white socks. Sorry, all of the microphones as well. I particularly hate people who wear big umbrellas. When I'm walking down the road and somebody's wearing a very big umbrella, I hate it. You know, it gets into my eye. I feel like they're taking so much space, and I feel like It's selfish. Like, you should be taking a bit less space for yourself. You know. But then a friend of mine gives me an umbrella, and it's quite big, and because I don't have one. And then I think, actually, it's quite comfortable. You don't get wet. And basically, what I wanted to say tonight is just kind of think about the things that we hate, and sometimes they are meaningless, sometimes they are meaningful, and sometimes we hate our family or our friends, that people who hate us, or that other person, or that other thing, or that person across the phone who doesn't speak our language and doesn't understand us. But, you know, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to go to bed and sleep with that and think, I hate so much? But don't hate. And think about that word. Maybe it's time to change it for I dislike. It's like, I like that word, I dislike. Yeah? So maybe it's time to start changing this kind of language that we use and start to think about the words that we use in a different way. And remove that word. Remove it about something that makes you feel so hateful and so inside yourself. And things can be a lot easier and wonderful if you stop hating, I guess. And that's all.
Thank you so much to Angel, and I've realised actually our last read of the night, which was going to be Open Minds, which would have been, is she here? Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's here!
Prioritize.
I don't want to depressurize Open Minds, but she can bring a whiskey up if she wants to.
She's just changing her shoes.
Okay, cool. So, until Open Minds is ready, like, I do want to make some thank yous tonight. I mean, first of all, thank you to all of you, because like this night wouldn't exist without you. Yeah, so. It's open mic, and it's 5 minutes for the reasons of getting people's voices out there, getting people's voices heard, and like that's why you guys are here, and that's why it's amazing to hear all your stuff. Also, I want to thank people who this is like this is an Oscar still. I'm good at Paltrow. George, Sydney, Selwyn Brace, who is our regular photographer. He's the one who comes up with amazing pictures on Facebook that you get tagged in. Like he's fantastic, and thank you very much to you. Tonight specifically, Timothy Locke, who's filming it all for us. And thank you. And to both fabrics. It's all kind of like allegiance and matrix of like sharing and enjoying one another, but in a non-sexual way, I guess. Maybe sexual as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If we want to. Thank you to everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. That's very nice. That's very nice of you to do. It is for I guess for everybody. So is Open Minds ready to go?
Yeah. Sorry.
Please give it up for our last speaker tonight. The fabulous, the wonderful, the elegant, the erotic Open Minds.
I'm so sorry, I actually sent you a message, I lost my purse, so... Good evening, everyone. Anyhow, I'm going to give another big hand to Pat. It's 1 year. As I missed it, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have some love tonight anyway, because that's all we need. Or maybe just some sex. Pat, this is for you. Okay. Touch me. Kiss me. Caress me. Lick me. Right there. Yeah. I don't want you to stop, boy. Just keep your lips right there at that spot. You have my mind all crazy. You have my body in a frenzy. I am lost within my insanity. I am fighting this desire, which only makes you hold me tighter and take me deeper. I want to shout and scream. Your tongue is a maddening dream. Oh baby, kiss, lick, suck, in the motion of a figure 8, embrace and taste. Hold me tight, firm within your tongue's knowledge. Tongue fucking, tongue licking, tongue exploring. Your tongue fucking knowing. Tongue, lips and mouth, you have taken me to my glory. Sorry, you have made me reach the moons and the stars. I want you to show me the galaxy. I have no more credit. I have reached my limit. I have come. I am wasted. I am done. Thank you. And once again, I want to say a big thank you to Pat for putting on this event. It's a fantastic event, and without it, I would not have been able to come out of my very shy little self.
Yeah, I think that was a great ending tonight in professing love and professing love through sex, and I think that's a way that we could all do well with. I've done all the thank yous, so thank you very much. And I think if the bartenders are up for it, we can. I know it's 10:30, I think, but we can stay around. If you don't have to catch your last train right away, then we can stay around for a drink afterwards and have a chat for at least another 20 or 30 minutes. Listen to some Kylie and just have a great time together. So thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, it was the most amazing